Well, hello everyone. Today's lesson is on the rooks. Now, we all know what we want to do. We all know what we want to do in the opening. We want to control the center, develop our knights and bishops, and we want a castle. So this is actually a really good move, pawn to e4. What it does is it puts a pawn in the center and lets the bishops out. You know, black does the same. Bring out your knights, bring out your bishops. Hey, that's easy. Defend things, bring out knights, castle, castle. So developing knights and bishops is pretty easy, and so is castling. But using your rooks, that's not so easy. The two rooks are the most powerful force on the chessboard. Yeah, that's right. Rooks are worth 5 points each, so that makes your two rooks are worth 10. Your queen is worth 9. So if you don't use your rooks correctly, you're really going to struggle in the game. The main points we're going to learn today are that rooks like open files, rooks like the 7th rank, rooks like to attack, not to defend, and we use something called break moves to open up lines for the rooks. So let's look at this position. It is white to play. What should he do? Should he move the king? Should he move the rook somewhere, hey, behind the e-pawn? No, you put it on the open file. An open file is a file, an up and down line, where there is no pawn in front of it. There are no pawns on it. Now, you don't want your rooks looking at your own pawns. You want them looking at the other guy's pawns or looking to get into the other guy's positions. Rooks like open files. And now that you're on the open file, what do? You move to the 7th rank. Rooks love the 7th rank. From here, they're aiming pawns this way, they're aiming at pawns that way, they're cutting off the king, and they're threatening to even attack pawns from the rear to go maybe to this square, e7, so we can attack the e-pawn from the rear. So if you don't know what to do with your rooks, look for open files where they can attack things and then try to put them on the 7th rank. Rooks also like to be active. Now in this position, you could say, hey, I'm going to move my rook to c1 where it can come to the 7th rank here, but then black is just going to stop you. And you have to start all over again. So in this position, you should sometimes think about, hey, the black rook is doing nothing. All it's doing is defending this pawn. The black rook can't move away. So what white does, he puts the rook on b6. That freezes the b pawn. It can't move anymore, can't go forward. And also it freezes this rook because now if this rook tries to move away, I'll just take it. It also cuts off the king so that the king can't come up. And white can slowly try to bring his pawns forward and try to create some dangerous pass pawn, try to maybe even create a little bit of a mating net. I don't know if white's winning, but he's certainly for choice in this position. This rook is active. This rook is passive, and that's what you want your rooks to do. Now, rooks like to attack, not defend. In this position, the rook could come here, c1, but then black stops him from going forward. And it's anyone's game. These pawns look dangerous to me for black. And the white pawns, they seem to be not going anywhere for a while. So I think maybe black might even be better in this position. So instead of just looking to penetrate, you look to attack things. And here the rook is now attacking the h-pawn. It's not so easy to defend, and you don't want to lose it. I think the best thing black can do is just to give up the h-pawn and try to run with these guys and hope to draw that way. But if he does try to defend, now what can white do? Look to see what else he can attack. Well, he can attack the b pawn, but then black can defend the b pawn. So let's go back and try a different move. Right, you play rook to h5. Not only are you still attacking the h pawn, but you're also attacking from the side the b pawn. It shows you rooks move on ranks and files, and here the rook is attacking on the rank and the file, and the black rook just can't defend them both. And so white is going to win a pawn, and he would have really good chances to win this game. So again, you want to put your rooks on open files, you want to get them to the 7th rank, and you want to make them active by attacking things, pawns maybe. You don't want them passive, having to defend. Rooks are too valuable for that. So we're going to go through a little game. This is a very popular defense. The first 20 years of my chess career, this is what I played for black. It's called the King's Indian Defense. And let's get to this position. Now, I don't see any open files for the rooks. So what am I going to do? Just give up? Well, if there are no open files, you have to create them. And what you do is you put a pawn to attack another pawn. Not here, he'll just get captured, and you're just giving away a pawn. But you prepare what is called a pawn break, where a pawn attacks another pawn that can't move away, and so that a pawn trade will happen and then an open file will occur. So white is going to try to play for the pawn to c5. Black is probably going to play pawn to f5. So let's see how a sample game can go on. Oh, by the way, and you can see here, these are all the reasonable moves that have been played over the years. Sorry about my voice. So white brings his knight over to attack the c5 square. Black frees the f5 pawn. Black aims the knight at the c5 square. And then black, whenever he wants now, could just create an open file by taking. White defends with a pawn. Black could take, but I don't think he gains anything. I think white has just as much control of the open file as black, and white still has this move coming in c5. So instead, he just brings his piece over to where he's going to open the lines. And black, again, aiming at this c5 square so he can get it with purpose. Chases the bishop away. And what black did is, instead of playing for an open f file, he's now going to open the g file, which is where the white king is sitting. And white will have trouble defending because there's not enough room for his pieces, and black can just funnel his pieces to support the g4 advance. White supports the c5 advance, and this is a very interesting game. As you could tell, there are 4 games given here in this line in the Lee Chess database. 1 win each and 2 draws. And if I remember correctly, the So Nakamura game was a brilliant game from the U.S. Championship about 5 years ago. Spectacular game by U.S. champion Hikaru Nakamura. And what you can do is you can go over the game. He brings the rook where you move the bishop, and then you bring the rook to the g file. Also, the bishop can come back to f8 to defend this pawn. Takes, getting off the file, and then h5 with the idea of supporting g4. Again, in this position, the top 4 games are 2 black wins, a white win, and a draw. So it's a really interesting game. And the black players, 2 of them are Nakamura and Kovalev, very strong players. So those are break moves when pawns attack pawns. For practice, you can go through a position like this and play it against the computer. And you could set it up, or you can play it against a friend, and break moves are already there with this move. However, you probably don't want to give away a pawn. So maybe you prepare it with a move like this. And if he stops it, maybe prepare it with a move like this. And just to get, and now these two pawns are blocked, so when you go here, something's going to give and a file is going to open. Now you could say, hey, it's not an open file because he has a pawn on it, but it's a half open file that you're going to attack, and maybe, so it's a very interesting game. I don't know what's going on. Probably both sides have played bad moves. But this is a good place to start where you try to prepare a pawn break. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this lesson and use your rooks. Thank you very much.